16th, 2024. I see guy. Gayat. Amano to. The Park Hyatt Hotel, Manhattan, New York. Federal agents surrounded the building. They had warrants. They had evidence. And they had a target. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most powerful men in entertainment history, was about to be arrested. For 3 decades, Diddy had been untouchable, a hip-hop icon, a business mogul, worth nearly $1 billion. He discovered Notorious B.I.G, built Bad Boy Records into an empire, launched careers, created trends, defined an entire era of music. He was Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Love, a man of many names and many faces. But behind the champagne, the parties, the success, there were whispers, allegations, stories that people were too afraid to tell. Women who said they'd been abused, silenced, controlled. For years, these stories remained in the shadows, protected by money, power, legal threats, and fear. Until 2023, when one woman found the courage to speak. Cassie Ventura, R&B singer. Diddy's former girlfriend filed a lawsuit alleging years of abuse, violence, control. Her lawsuit opened a floodgate. More women came forward. More allegations emerged. And federal investigators started paying attention. This is not a story about cancel culture. This is not about rumors or gossip. This is a story about federal criminal charges, about alleged patterns of abuse spanning decades, about how power and money can protect someone until they can't. This is the story of Diddy's fall, from the top of the music industry to a jail cell awaiting trial. To understand the fall, we must first understand the rise. Sean John Combs, born November 4th, 1969, in Harlem, New York. His father was killed when Sean was just 2 years old, shot in his car, in what was reported as a drug deal gone wrong. His mother Janice worked 3 jobs to give Sean a better life. Young Sean was ambitious, driven, hungry for success. He attended Howard University, but dropped out to pursue music. He landed an internship at Uptown Records, working for Andre Harrell. And quickly, he wasn't just an intern. He was discovering talent, producing hits, making himself indispensable. 1993. At just 24 years old, Sean launched Bad Boy Records. His first major signing, Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G. And Biggie's debut album, Ready to Die, went multi-platinum. Bad Boy Records was suddenly the hottest label in hip-hop, and Sean Combs was on his way to becoming a mogul. Over the next decade, Diddy built an empire. He produced for Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, 112, on the Dine, Total Maze. He launched his own rap career as Puff Daddy. His album No Way Out won a Grammy. He created Sean John Clothing, a vodka brand, a media company, REVOLT TV. By the 2000s, he wasn't just a music producer. He was a brand, a lifestyle, a symbol of black excellence and success. And then there were the parties, Diddy's legendary parties. The White Party in the Hamptons, celebrity-studded, exclusive, glamorous. Everyone wanted an invitation. Celebrities, politicians, athletes. These weren't just parties. They were power moves, networking, events, places where deals were made, where D's influence was on full display. But according to prosecutors, some of these gatherings weren't just parties. They called them freak-offs, elaborate events where women were allegedly coerced, drugged, and abused, where the line between celebration and exploitation disappeared completely. This is where the story takes a dark turn. 2005. Cassie Ventura, a young singer and model, just 19 years old, is signed with Bad Boy Records. Diddy was 37. Owen, 37. He became her mentor, her producer, and eventually, according to her lawsuit, her abuser. According to Cassie's November 2023 lawsuit, what began as a professional relationship became something much darker. She alleged that Diddy, over the course of their decade-long relationship, subjected her to physical violence, emotional abuse, and control over every aspect of her life. The lawsuit described incidents where Diddy allegedly beat her in hotels, in his homes, in front of staff who were too terrified to intervene. She alleged he controlled her career, her friendships, her movements, that he used his power in the industry to isolate her completely. But the allegations went further. Cassie claimed that Diddy would force her to participate in what he called freak-offs, orchestrated encounters with male workers. While he watched and recorded, she alleged he used drugs, coercion, and threats to maintain control, and that when she tried to leave, he threatened to destroy her career. Then, in May 2024, CNN obtained surveillance footage from the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, March 5th, 2016. The video showed a man, later confirmed to be Diddy, chasing a woman down a hotel hallway. The woman, in a towel, appeared to be trying to escape. The man grabbed her, threw her to the ground, kicked her, dragged her. The violence was shocking, undeniable, captured on camera. For years, Diddy had denied all allegations, calling them lies, money grabs. But when that video emerged, he couldn't deny it anymore. He posted an apology video, saying he took full responsibility, that he was disgusted by his behavior, that he had sought therapy. But by then, the damage was done. And more importantly, federal investigators were already building their case. Cassie's lawsuit, filed In November 2023, Dos Daesh Batisetao Liashahe One obstruction I do one house Rolo Yar Dryer but settled within 24 hours. Terms undisclosed. Diddy's attorney said it wasn't an admission of wrongdoing. But the speed of the settlement raised questions. What was Diddy trying to prevent from being discovered in court? What evidence existed that he wanted buried? Cassie's lawsuit gave other women courage. Within weeks, more allegations surfaced, more lawsuits filed, a pattern emerging that spanned decades. Joy Dickerson Neal alleged that in 1991, one burning bow Besmi Warner Tau when she was a college student, Diddy drugged and assaulted her. The incident was allegedly recorded and shown to others. Decades of trauma from one night. An anonymous woman filed suit alleging that in 2003, Naughty Meabisherish meet Abanawasis Kapazistano. Nitis Mayshuli Oledesu. When she was 17 years old, Diddy and two other men assaulted her in a New York recording studio. She was a minor, and according to the lawsuit, Diddy knew it. Another plaintiff alleged that Diddy and his associates used their positions of power to traffic women, to coerce them into situations where they couldn't refuse, where saying no meant risking their careers, their safety, their lives. Then came allegations from Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a producer who worked on Diddy's most recent album. His lawsuit alleged a pattern of harassment, inappropriate behavior, and being forced to procure substances and workers for Diddy's events. The lawsuit painted a picture of an organization that operated like a criminal enterprise. Each lawsuit, each allegation, told a similar story. A powerful man, using his influence to control, to abuse, to silence women and employees who felt they had no choice, because in entertainment, Diddy wasn't just powerful, he was the industry. Cross him, and your career was over. By early 2024, these weren't just civil lawsuits anymore. The Department of Homeland Security was investigating human trafficking, racketeering, patterns of abuse. This had become a federal criminal matter. March 25th, 2024. Barney and Amia Mishisi Morsim Dai Dan Bayu. Federal agents from Homeland Security investigations executed search warrants simultaneously at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. The raids were massive, coordinated, and highly publicized. Television helicopters captured the scene. Federal agents in tactical gear entering the properties, searching for hours, removing boxes, electronics, documents. Diddy's sons, Justin and King Combs, were detained temporarily. and questioned. This wasn't a civil lawsuit anymore. This was a federal criminal investigation. According to law enforcement sources, investigators were gathering evidence related to trafficking allegations, videos allegedly recorded at these freak-offs, financial records, communications. They were building a RICO case, racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations, the same statute used to prosecute organized crime. Federal prosecutors would later allege that they found evidence of a sophisticated operation involving employees, associates, and the resources of Diddy's businesses to facilitate and cover up alleged crimes. They claim to have over 1,000 bottles of lubricant, drugs, including ketamine and GAB, video recordings, and testimony from multiple witnesses. The theory prosecutors developed was that Diddy didn't act alone, that he used his businesses, Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, as vehicles for a criminal enterprise. Employees allegedly helped procure women, book hotel rooms, clean up after events, and intimidate victims into silence. According to reports, multiple former employees and associates cooperated with investigators. Some agreed to testify about what they witnessed, what they were asked to do, and how the alleged operation functioned behind closed doors. For federal prosecutors, this cooperation was crucial to building their case. September 16th, 2024. After months of investigation, federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York were ready. They secured an indictment, and that evening, at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan, federal agents arrested Sean Diddy Combs. The charges were severe. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy, alleging that Diddy led a criminal enterprise that used force, threats, and coercion. Count 2, transportation to engage in certain unlawful activities, essentially trafficking. Count 3, obstruction of justice, for allegedly attempting to bribe witnesses and destroy evidence. The indictment painted a damning picture. It alleged that from at least 28 anti-Zan through the present, Diddy engaged in a pattern of abuse and exploitation, that he used his businesses and employees to facilitate these crimes, that he maintained control through violence, financial support, and promises of career advancement. If convicted on all counts, Diddy faces a minimum of 15 years and a maximum of life in federal prison. This isn't a state case. Federal charges have a conviction rate of over 90%, and federal time means serving at least 85% of any sentence. This is as serious as it gets. Diddy's attorneys immediately requested bail. They offered his Miami Beach mansion, worth $48 million, as collateral. They proposed house arrest with GPS monitoring They argued he wasn't a flight risk, that he'd surrendered voluntarily. But the judge denied bail twice. The prosecution argued that Diddy posed a danger to the community and to witnesses. They presented evidence of alleged witness tampering, of phone calls from jail, where Diddy allegedly tried to influence testimony, of a pattern of intimidation that made him too dangerous to release. The judge agreed. As of now, Diddy remains at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the same facility that once held R. Kelly and Ghislaine Maxwell, awaiting trial. The date is set for May 2025. And the world is watching. Diddy's legal team is formidable, led by attorney Mark Agnifilo. They filed numerous motions challenging the evidence, the investigation, and the prosecution's theory. Their strategy is clear: attack the credibility of the accusers and the government's case. The defense argues that these were consensual relationships between adults, that Diddy may have had unconventional lifestyle choices, but that doesn't make him a criminal. They point to the civil settlements, saying that some plaintiffs were motivated by financial gain, not justice. Some in the music industry have defended Diddy, pointing to his philanthropy, his mentorship of young artists, his contributions to black culture. They argue that in the Me Too era, men are being destroyed based on allegations alone, without due process. But others point to the pattern, the multiple allegations spanning decades, the video evidence. The federal government doesn't bring RICO charges lightly. They need evidence, witnesses, a provable case. And according to prosecutors, they have it. Public reaction has been divided. Some fans refuse to believe that the man who gave them "I'll be missing you, more money, more problems, coming home" could be capable of such crimes. Others say they always knew that behind the smile and the success, something was wrong. The music industry has largely distanced itself. REVOLT TV, the media company Diddy founded, announced he stepped down. Corporate partnerships have been severed. His image, once on billboards and in commercials, has been scrubbed. This is not a suspension. This is an erasure. The Diddy case is about more than one man. And giant it's about a system that enabled alleged abuse. For decades, a system where power, money, and influence could silence victims and protect predators. We've seen it before. Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, powerful men in entertainment who allegedly used their positions to abuse, to control, to destroy lives. And for years, everyone knew or suspected, but said nothing, because speaking up meant career suicide. The indictment mentions associates and employees who allegedly helped book hotels, transport women, cleaning up evidence. These enablers are crucial to understanding how such alleged operations it could continue for decades. It takes a village to hide a crime, and according to prosecutors, Diddy had that village. In entertainment, there's a code. Don't talk, don't tell. Protect the brand, protect the money. Victims were paid off, given in dollars, threatened with legal action, and the cycle continued until someone was brave enough to break it. Cassie's lawsuit was that breaking point. It gave others permission to speak their truth, to say, "This happened to me too." And suddenly, the wall of silence started to crumble. This case raises questions about accountability in entertainment, about how we treat allegations, about power dynamics, and about whether the industry has really learned anything from Me Too, or whether powerful men still believe they're untouchable. Sean Combs wanted to be remembered as a visionary, a mogul, a man who changed hip-hop and black business forever. And in many ways, he did. Bad Boy Records changed the sound of the 90s. His business ventures showed a generation that rappers could be entrepreneurs, that black excellence had no limits. But now, that legacy is forever tainted by allegations of abuse, of trafficking, of using that same power to hurt, to control, to destroy. The man who built an empire may have built it on the suffering of others. This story is ultimately about them, the women who allegedly suffered for years in silence, who were told their careers depended on their silence, who watched Diddy get richer, more powerful, more celebrated, while carrying the weight of what he allegedly did to them. If the allegations are true, then justice was delayed for decades. These women deserved to be believed, deserved protection, deserved justice, but instead, they got into settlements and silence until finally the system caught up. May 2025. Kanawa. Diddy will face a jury. Evidence will be presented. Witnesses will testify. And 12 people will decide whether he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of leading a criminal enterprise, of trafficking, of obstruction. The trial will be one of the biggest in entertainment history. It's important to remember, Diddy is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That's how our system works. But the federal government doesn't bring these cases unless they believe they can win. The conviction rate speaks for itself. There's a lesson here about power, about accountability, about the importance of believing victims, and about the fact that no matter how rich, how famous, how seemingly untouchable you are, the truth eventually comes to light. Sean Diddy Combs built an empire over 30 years. It took just a few months for it all to come crashing down, because in the end, no amount of money, no amount of fame can protect you from the truth, and no amount of power can silence justice forever. The rise was legendary. The fall may be his true legacy. From the top of the world to a jail cell, awaiting judgment for what he allegedly did. In the shadows, while standing in the spotlight, to every person who found the courage to speak, to every victim who's still afraid, this case shows that your voice matters, that eventually someone will listen, and that no one, absolutely no one, is above the law.